Hey everybody, welcome to Gimme A Song. I'm your host, Jeff Phipps. I ask people to come on, give me a song, and then we talk about the two songs. I give them a song. We talk about the two songs. So thank you so much for watching. I do have to set the tone. When we talk about our songs, you should go listen to those songs. That way you can kind of know what we're talking about, especially with Ben's song, because I don't think anyone's heard it besides Ben. We'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, speaking of which, please introduce yourself.
I'm Ben Johnson.
Hello, Ben Johnson.
Jeff, we are good friends.
We are good friends.
I do comedy in the St. Louis comedy scene. I also travel all over. I've gotten to do some cool festivals. And I like this song also. And I'm not, okay.
All right.
Okay, well you came at me, you put the gloves on right away. You said you're the only one that's ever heard it.
No, it's not. You're the only one. There's not a lot of listeners. Like on their Spotify, it's like 5,000 a month.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Okay.
You got to do. So I have sponsorship now, Ben. I
Yeah.
don't know if you knew this. So you're the second person to hear a live read.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this will go well. This is a real sponsor, not a phony sponsor. I know, right? Also, you're the first person with the background sign.
Hey.
So congratulations as we go. If we just get the microphones working, I bought real expensive Shure microphones.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm holding like this. Mike said the same thing. He's like, don't hold them like that.
Mike.
Yeah. And anyway, we don't have them yet. We're working on it, and hopefully, not you, but the next person will have really nice microphones.
Mm-hmm.
And sound apparently is an issue with this podcast. I don't know why, everything echoes or something. All right, so here's our sponsor. We have sponsors now. Today's sponsorship is the Channel 18 News Team, led by Rod Stemmerlin, who recently beat his sexual harassment lawsuit against his former co-anchor, Sarah Smitty. Rod is a trusted news source who has led the Channel 18 News Team with heart and soul. Tune into the Channel 18 News Team tonight, Channel 18 News, where we're legally obligated to tell you that we have settled 4 defamation lawsuits against the team. Channel 18 News, we report. So there is our new sponsor.
They beat the case.
Hey,
shout out to beating the case.
That's
man.
right, yeah. So the Channel 18's news team, they report. That's it. There's no like catchy thing like we report, you decide, or we report. Like they just report.
We report.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they settled 4 defamation cases, so maybe.
That's defamatory. That's like you're saying libel. I guess it's not libel if you're saying it, or slander, right? That's
libel is written, slander is said. So like use the S's. The S's to match it up.
And well, I'm happy for him, unless he's a bad guy. But
clearly not if he beat his sexual harassment lawsuit.
Right?
There's just a few texts.
When's the court ever been wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. They were just images.
Just a few texts.
I don't know, just a few.
Like a Brett Favre.
I don't know. I wasn't. Yeah, you know, Brett Favre. What a callback. People had really high opinion of Brett Favre like 10 years ago.
He really did a lot to defame himself.
He did.
I guess that's is it defamatory if it's still like if it's true?
No, at that point it's just true.
Oh, okay.
Defamation is is insult. It's like it's not true.
Yeah.
You're defaming my
spreading.
image. Yes, that's right.
He defamed his own image.
He did. Well, I mean, I
don't think he stole a bunch of money from people.
He did. I was going to get to that, but thank you for bringing that up. In Louisiana, and he still hasn't been brought. Him and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and like the only person they've convicted so far is the $1 Million Man's son, Ted DiBiase Jr.
The $500,000 man.
Yes. Not anymore. Now he's the 3 to 5 man. So he's the only person who's been caught in all this. It's been crazy. This is all allegedly, by the way.
Yeah, that's alleged.
So we don't get sued for defamation. I don't have an attorney.
No.
All right, Ben, tell me about yourself. I mean, you kind of said a little bit. What is your? So I ask this question of everyone who comes on. So I'm going to ask you.
I'm a Libra.
Yeah, I like long walks on the beach. What would you consider your biggest accomplishment as a stand-up comic so far?
Oh man, probably getting to do the 10,000 Laughs Festival last year, which I feel like a lot of people that are in the comedy world don't really know. But I mean, it's a really it's well done and highly regarded festival. That was really cool. I got to travel around a whole bunch last year, opening up for Jamie Lissow.
Yeah.
And that was like awesome. We're getting to do like real clubs in different cities for like the first time in my career doing it. And I don't have any other like credits, I guess. But I mean, I've gotten to do a handful of festivals. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been doing it like 12 years.
Yeah.
And I suppose that's most of my what I've done so far.
No, that's pretty cool.
Got to fly over the last 2-3
Flyover
years.
Festival. Yeah, I'd like to have this show on Flyover. I think that's my goal for this upcoming year. Yeah, like a live broadcast of the show.
Yeah.
And have somebody on it.
Yeah.
Somebody more famous.
You should do some live show. More
I
famous.
will, yeah.
Oh.
No offense.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, neither one of us are like killing it. You know, we're killing it, but we're not, like, you know what I'm saying? I got to backtrack all of this. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you can check and see if I'm famous after this.
Yeah.
Wait till we're done recording, and then check and see if I'm famous, and then see how you feel about it.
Yes.
And then maybe think about that.
I'm going to tell you this. So you had taken a break when I first started doing comedy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was a year and a half in or something like that, and you were a heavy anchor, and you, it's the first time I'd ever seen you. I didn't know who you were or anything like that. I didn't know who a lot of people were, and I kind of found out after the fact. It's like, oh, well, this person took a break during the pandemic or whatever, and now they're back.
I felt like I was really finding myself again, too, whenever I came back after taking some time off. I came back. I didn't know a lot of the people that were around.
Yeah.
I was dressing different in a way, I was trying to find, like, maybe this is me.
This is who I am on stage now. Yeah.
Yeah, big striped shirt.
Yes. Charlie Brown. The Charlie Brown shirt everywhere, shave your head.
Yeah.
It was a whole different look.
I just left 3 hairs
absolutely, 3
across
little
the top.
hairs. Anyway, the first time I saw you, you were the first person I've ever been jealous about seeing on stage in St. Louis ever in my entire life.
Oh, man, that's sweet.
I was like, fuck this guy. Seriously, I was like, I'm doing everything.
Was it the shirt?
It was the shirt and the hair. I was like, man, he looks like Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
And he's killing it. You were just killing it. And like everybody was like, everyone knew you. So they were all like, like when you're in the scene for a while and you go to like mics and like you have like a built-in like little bit of laugh.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, people will give you like, even if it's not hit, they'll give you the benefit of the doubt and they're like, okay, you're working on it. I can see where this is going. I know you'll get there. Yeah, they can see it along with you because they know your style, they know your voice. Everybody, you were just killing it. But they were genuinely funny jokes. And I was just like, I'm doing everything wrong. I was like, I'm blowing everything up. Like I'm starting over from scratch. Like I'm rebuilding Jeff Phipps, the comedian. And you were the reason why I didn't blow up a lot of things.
I mean, that keeps happening to me too, man. Like every time you feels like you level up, you'll see somebody else that's just like, oh man, they're so good. Their brain works on a different. I want to tear all this down. I don't like any of this. I want to redo all of it.
Right. You were the only one. No offense to anyone else here in town, but I was like, damn, like seriously, and I was like mad about it, like just like genuinely kind of mad. I was like sitting there and I was just like, this motherfucker, god damn it, like I've never felt that before after, and I've seen plenty of headliners. We go to the clubs, we hang out, whatever, see tons of people, and like if I can see where their act is within like the first 10 minutes, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Yeah. And like, you'll laugh along with, because usually they're good about getting laughs from everybody.
Doesn't continue to surprise as much.
Right.
Which is really what, so much jokes are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's, I always talk about Jesselnick on this podcast, it's kind of like, he's the master of surprise. You have no idea where that punchline's going to go, And I think that's just so good. Or, the premise of working backwards or whatever, like I like to be surprised, but at the same time, like I like Nate Bargatze a lot. I love him. And there's nothing like
I met him a long time ago.
Really?
Whenever he was at the Funny Bone, he came through and it happened to be the series finale of Breaking Bad. And my buddy convinced him to drive over to his friend's house. His friend, who was also a weed dealer at the time, and it's so crazy in hindsight because he's so famous now. I mean, he was hilarious then too. Yeah. But there's like random people at the house. They were like all watching in this fucking drug dealer's basement.
Just watching the finale.
The finale, and then he's like quiet in the corner. I'm sure he regretted like coming over there. They're like weirdos, like the people that come to buy weed were like over at his house that like I've never met before. And I'm like, oh my god, what are we doing with this with a headliner here? And then like as time gone on, it's become even more and more crazy. It's like he's so famous, and he was over at the house watching that show.
I guarantee you, like many people have that story about a specific comic.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like people, like, there's people here who be like, oh yeah, I smoked, or I did like hard drugs with Artie Lang or something, or one of the guys I taught with, so I was a former teacher, people may or may not be aware.
And he wasn't buying weed or anything, by the way. I should just state that just to be.
Okay.
He just wanted to watch the Breaking Bad finale.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to ask, so that way if he had, like, I'm not involved. Yeah, so, okay. So he used to run the Funny Bone, like a long time ago. And then he ended up running, his name's Mike McLaughlin. I guarantee you don't know him.
Okay.
But then he ended up running Scott Trade or Enterprise or whatever it is now.
Oh my gosh.
He ran the concession stands, like the whole thing for like 10 years. And then he wanted to get like some kind of retirement. So he became a teacher for like the last 6 years of his life. He's still alive, but like till he retired. He recently retired like a year ago. And so I knew him for like the time he was teaching. And he would tell me these stories about comics. And he'd be like, there was one I famously tell people where he had to like drive to Sauget and drag the headliner out of the strip club.
Oh yeah.
And like for in between the two shows.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's like, you guys might have to go long because I got to go get this guy out of the clubs. He'll call me every once in a while and give me an idea for a joke. He's like, hey, you ever thought about doing this? And it's like, no. I don't.
He was at a strip club in between shows?
Yes.
That is,
that's awesome.
Was that at a club that's like closer to Sauget at this point?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
No, it was Funny Bone. He ran West Park Funny Bone.
Oh, okay.
So no, he was like, I don't know, what's that, a 20-minute drive or something?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. Like
Man,
right after the show.
How bad do you need to see somebody naked that you're like, I gotta go?
I gotta have blow and strippers right now.
I guess some people, blow is for sure addictive, but I mean, it is like a lifestyle.
Well, yeah.
If you're going to a strip club, it was not my, I don't get it, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been twice. One time I went with all ladies, like just my friends were like getting a group of people together, and they're like, hey, let's come out. And I'm like, all right. And I had more fun that time, I'd say.
Well,
but overall, just grimy, gross, not.
Yeah, you're a bartender, right?
Yeah.
So like that, you're up at 1 o'clock in the morning. You don't have anywhere else to go.
I have worked that kind of job before, but the place I'm at now is more of like we keep restaurant hours. So like the latest I'm usually out of there is like midnight or something like that.
I hung out with like a lot of bartender, bar folk and stuff like that in my like early 30s, and then it was like, okay, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. Where are we gonna go? And then you end up at the
doing blow.
You end up at the club. I am famously never done drugs.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's good not to open that door.
Yeah.
Because then it's, but I feel like I've grown from my experiences.
I just want to do acid at some point. Like, really.
It's a good time.
Yeah, that's what they say. Like, I want to unlock, like, they say, like, Steve Jobs and, like, other famous, like, super intelligent people have taken, like, LSD and it's, like, unlock something. Mathematicians. And I'm like, I want in on that, I got a degree in math,
I had something, but I lost it. Yeah, I don't do anything these days. I feel like that was all my party days were in my 20s, and I'm like so glad to not to have distanced myself from who I was at that time, because it was not fun.
No, drinking 24/7 isn't fun either.
No, it starts off like you feel good, but then it quickly just like all the feeling good, it wears away quickly, and then you just become like that's what you need to feel normal. And
then you get the shakes, you get the DTs, the delirium tremors. Yes. Thank you so much for coming on. I asked people to give me a song. Do you need to hear the backstory to this, or are you good? The whole like why we're doing this show at all?
Oh, I don't know. Is there a backstory?
There is a backstory.
Sure.
You know Larry Smith from Springfield?
Yeah, I've met Larry.
So we were at a show after one night. He was the second person on the show. And he had a drive-by trucker shirt on. Fun. And I was like, I've seen them, but I didn't care for them. And he's like, oh no. You
saw him live too?
And he's like, you gotta, well, he'd seen them like 3 or 4 times. It's his favorite band.
Yeah, but you had seen them live.
I'd seen them once, yeah. They opened for Tom Petty. And I was like, they're okay.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you gotta hear this song. And then I was like, okay. And then I was like, well, if I gotta hear your song, you're gonna hear one of mine. I'm like, well, you ever listen to this? And I sent him an Interpol song. Anyway, and then those are the 2 bands that we talked about on his, like when he came on. But 2 different songs than the 2 songs that we talked about originally.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, that's the base. And then, like 6 months later, it's like, man, I could really do this with people. Like I like talking music with people.
Yeah, for sure.
So speaking of which, I asked people to give me a song, and if you could tell everybody the name of the song and the band, that would be great.
The name of my song is Nobody.
Yes.
Not Nobody. Nobody. It's by Living Hour.
Okay, so this is the cue to go listen to the song and then come back.
It's fine.
All right.
How'd you like it? New favorite song?
Right. It is a good song. How'd you find this song? Let's start there.
I listened to Needle Drop. He is like a YouTube music review guy, but I've listened to him for like a very long time. And honestly, I haven't even like gone through and like listened to a ton of this band's stuff. But this has been a song that's like stuck on my playlist on Apple Music for just like a long time. Just like, and it's, I don't know, it's just one that I come back to. It's very calming to me. It feels like floaty at the end too.
Absolutely.
The way that it's like, I don't know if you'd call it in the round. It's not really in the round because they're not saying the same things, but it's just layered in a nice, floaty, ambient way.
Dreamy is a good way of describing it. I like songs like that. It's kind of hard to hear the lyrics. Like I had to like look up the lyrics, and then they don't make sense to me. And I'm like one of those people who like songs that make sense. Yeah. And so this is kind of like, it's really dreamy. So everything's dreamy about it. Like even the lyrics, it's like, okay, are you in a restaurant? What's going on? Like, did the person get broken up on? Like, I don't understand like exactly what's going on. You know,
I also used to be a big fan. And speaking of, if you want lyrics to make sense, and it's a band that doesn't, I used to listen to a lot of Mars Volta. Yeah. And I believe I heard that their process was they would write the music. And then, at least for like one or two of the albums, the lead singer would just take mushrooms and then write what like segments of the song made him feel. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy. But I mean, all of it's like, and it's like back and forth between Spanish and English. But it's all very weird, abstract stuff, and that's never been necessarily like a turnoff for me whenever I'm listening to stuff.
No, I don't mind it. Like I listen to MGMT, and then like I'll read lyrics, and then like people have like on Genius. Genius is a great site, by the way. You should all like.
I got the app.
I do have the. I have the app too.
Yeah.
Okay, but so I'll look up lyrics. The lyrics for this were not on Genius.
Really?
Yeah, I had to find out.
That can't be true.
The band was on there, but when I clicked on the name to like bring up the lyrics, like nothing would come up. It was really weird. So like, it was like really in the recesses of their database, and they're like, "Are there lyrics here?" Like, but there wasn't even like a warning that they're like, "We don't have anything here. There's nothing here." Oh, yeah,
that's kind of surprising to me. But I mean, they got everything on there.
They do.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I remember one time I looked up the lyrics to a Kid Rock song on Genius, and I clicked on the it's got it highlighted. You can click on it, and people can say it gets upvotes or not on what that means, and I forget the exact lyric, but the annotation was Kid Rock is a cool guy and his message is to be cool and do your thing. And I'm like, this sounds like it was written by a Kid Rock fan.
It sounds like it was written by Kid Rock himself.
Yeah, before he got into politics.
God. Yeah. You ever been down to Nashville? Have you been to Kid Rock's bar?
I got it one time a long time ago. I've been to Nashville like twice in probably like the last 5 years. Yeah. And one time we went to up and down the strip and went to bars, and the other time I wasn't doing all that. And I might have, there was some rooftop bar that we were at, but we were like in and out. It was a lot of fun. It was I think it was 4th of July we went the one time.
Yeah, my friends love Kid Rock and Kid Rock's bar. Sure. I know, that's what I'm saying.
Nothing I love more than shotgun a Monster Energy drink and then listen to some Ball with a Ball.
Right, well then somebody just comes behind it with a Jaeger. It's like you make your own Vegas bomb, you know? It's like,
it's like the chocolate milk commercial.
We went in September of like 2021 or 22, and we got like Nashville COVID because they never stopped.
Yeah, like Nashville COVID. They got their own.
Yeah, it was their own strain that mutated off of like regular COVID. I was on the ground for like.
It's a little bit country and it's a little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, it was the worst. Like I just hated every minute of being sick after there. And I like personally like tried to. I'm like, how do I get a hold of Kid Rock? I was searching that on Google. Yeah. Like I want to find Kid Rock.
I want to get to his team.
What do you know about this band? So, like next to nothing, they're Canadian.
I kind of shot from the hip whenever you asked me for a song, and I think I had been listening to that a lot at the time. Yeah. I don't know a whole lot about it. I mean, this is just one that, like I said, it's just stuck with me, and I don't know a whole ton about the band. I thought about sending a Billy Strings song because I'm really big into him, but I don't know a ton about the band.
No, that's cool. I'm just asking. Like they have a Wikipedia page again, like very small. Like it's like
that's also kind of why I wanted to send it too, because I'm like, oh, this is something that he hasn't heard probably, and apparently nobody has heard it.
Aptly titled. Yeah, no, I love this song though. I really did. It's dreamy. I love dreamy. Mm-hmm. I'm not the biggest fan of nonsensical lyrics, but I want to know more about them, and so I tried to find things about the band, and it's like they're just at that point in their career where it's like there's not much there. You know, they have like 5,000 listeners on Spotify, which is like a small town.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's not as far as like what big numbers can't be pulled on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're actually like if I'm listening to them on Spotify, I'm like genuinely increasing. Like I'm like tangibly increasing their pocketbook. You know what I'm saying? It's not like listening to like other bands or anything like that where it's like
they get a notification every time.
They probably do. And that little screenshot of me like oh, Jeff's listening again.
Yeah, they get a live camera feed.
They do. And they can send a message. Thank your fan. Fan. Singular.
I'm sure they got some sort of following.
Yeah, but it's crazy that you I used to check out like I have a release radar on Spotify. That's like a good one. It'll give me suggestions, and I'll listen to it like maybe like every once in a while. But now it's just like, oh, here's bands that I like, and they have new music, and I just skip over the rest of the recommendations. I turned off like the suggestion thing on Spotify because it was like it's like your playlist, and then we'll insert songs, and it's like no, don't do this because then it ended up being like
more control.
Yeah, well, it ends up being like point songs. I listen to a lot of songs that like could be on the point,
and
should have been on the point.
Yeah.
Like, so the point's the St. Louis station here for the people who aren't here. It's 104.1 the point KPNT. There you go. Is the call letters, and they just play 80s or 90s alternative rock. Like time stopped for this station, and they're like it's Metallica, Alice in Chains, and Nirvana, and nothing else.
Man, I haven't listened to the radio in a hot minute. I did go through a radio phase whenever I was delivering pizzas there for a while, but I also liked, I had some sort of app and you could like listen to radio stations from like across the country.
Yeah.
I started listening to, I think it was KEXP, which is out of Portland, but they also...
Yeah, that's a really good one. K-Rock out of LA is another good station. Seattle's alt-rock, I can't think of the call letters, but their alt-rock station, of course, is like one of the best on the planet. Like, you know, they'll play like, they'll play Interpol, they'll play Arctic Monkeys, they'll play, and then they'll go back and play like older stuff too. It's just like a nice mix of, you know, White Stripes, that kind of thing.
Yeah, they didn't just get stuck in the
No, they just like didn't stop.
Fossilized bug.
Yeah, like Casey. And then Casey did the same thing. And so now we need like a new station to like play like more modern
Yes, the
tracks.
answer is more radio.
Well, of course. Clearly, you know, a successful... I mean, it is a successful... People make money off the radio, you know?
Still,
like,
yeah, even so.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like ad reads are...
Can't imagine it is what it used to be.
No, probably not.
But I mean, still, we got friends that are
We do.
on radio stations.
We do have friends that are on radio stations.
Yeah.
So I would consider that like making it, honestly. If you had a full-time job on the radio, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, yeah, no, I really don't have, I wish I had more to say about this song and the band, but there's really not much to cover. But I just really liked it. Was there any, like, do you go back to any of the lyrics or anything like that? Like, or you're just kind of like in the zone and you don't, like, it doesn't stick with you or anything?
I don't really, no, none of the lyrics are like super, like, that's not what draws me to the song, I feel like. It is like the dreamy, floaty, nice, and like I said, it just does, it calms me and I feel like I'm...
Do you search out the song when you need it? Is this like one of the songs that like you need?
It's on that playlist for sure. It's on with other things that are like in that vein.
But I'm saying like, will you like hit play? Like, will you search it out and hit play? Like...
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'll just want to listen to it sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a song by a band called Deer Hunter, and it's called Desire Lines, and it's the catchiest song ever. It's not the catchiest song ever. I just love it. I don't know how to describe it. And the last like minute and a half of it just breaks down into like madness. But I will like once a month, I'm like, this is what we're gonna listen to on repeat for like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, I'll just listen to this one song on repeat for like 5 hours. And I'm just kind of curious, is this like a song like that for you?
I have done that with this song, but I feel like sometimes I will like wear out the juice for what that makes me feel in a given time, and then I'll go back to it like maybe months later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like something catches you and you're like, oh, repeat.
Right, yeah.
But I haven't done that. I listened to it a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
on my way here too, and
I appreciate that.
yeah.
I like it to be fresher than not. You know, here's a song that I listened to 20 years ago, and I'm like bringing up like finer points of the song. They're like, did that happen in this song?
I should have chosen Happy Birthday. I definitely listen to that at least once a year. I work at, like I said, the Mexican. It's a Mexican restaurant, and for whatever reason, I feel like people pile in there whenever it's their birthday, or like, maybe it's just restaurants in general, and I'm having.
No, I think it's specifically. There's a lot of people who go to Mexican restaurants on their birthday.
And we have a mariachi band that comes in on like Thursdays and Fridays, or we would.
Yeah.
And this table asked me, "Can you sing Happy Birthday?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I told the band, but they didn't skip straight over to them. They had to come across the patio, and they hit every single table, and they sang Happy Birthday probably 5 times before they even got to the people.
But they made you specifically sing Happy Birthday?
No, we don't have to. That's what keeps me there.
Okay. I was gonna say, what's nice is that it's like back in public domain. You can sing Happy Birthday in a restaurant. Like, again, you know, like you were breaking the law or
really?
Or violating copyright. I guess so. I think it's in public domain, but like somebody like taken the name or gotten the copyright to it or the and they're like, no, if we find out, it's like Disney.
Then you owe us money.
Like it's like playing like a Disney movie to daycare. Apparently, you know, if like Disney ever finds out, they're just gonna hammer you with the fines or whatever.
I wish they made CEOs still sing Happy Birthday to people.
There's a lot of people that should. CEOs should do a lot of things. Odd times for CEOs.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of weird takes on that publicly. We don't have to talk about that. That's fine.
What's can we start talking about your song too?
Sure, we can. Absolutely. If we've worn out Living Hour, that's fine by me.
If I were to go back, I'd probably choose something else that I could. I didn't think it through. I'm just like, I want to pick something I like, but I'm like, I probably should have picked something I could talk about a little bit longer.
That happens. It's okay. Everyone's still learning about everything about this podcast. You know, like this is a work in progress. Like I said, we got the sign now. We got sponsorship now. Awesome. The Channel 18 News team.
We report.
They do. Thank you. And last week it was Frownies. Brownies for people with seasonal depression.
Oh, that's funny.
They send me stuff. Anyway, people come on. I give them a song. So like I said, if I gotta talk to you about your song, well then I'm gonna have something to talk about. And so what song did I give you?
Crowded House. Don't Dream It's Over.
Don't Dream It's Over.
Yeah.
Where are you at? I'm assuming you had heard the song before I did.
Yeah, is it in movies?
It's everything. But it's not. Is it like it's kind of? It's like it's not. I don't know if it's actually like they're breaking up. It's like we could be breaking up, but like let's not give up.
Yeah.
And you really don't have to take like. Of course, you heard it, and you heard like this is one of those songs you can kind of interpret, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
Like there is like layers and meaning. You know, it's like if you look on the second page, if you turn it over. Where he's like, he's talking about, I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. He's just like, everything is just like, bad day.
Yeah,
and it's omnipresent, really.
Did they have other hits?
Yes, but nothing as big as Don't Dream It's Over. Yeah. It's like two brothers from New Zealand. And then, remember the song, I Got You?
I think, yeah.
It's like, I got you. I don't want to sing any more than that. Then it's like, I get copyright strike by the owners. But anyway, they were in that band, or one of them was in that band and then formed Crowded House.
Okay.
So they had hits before, and then like they had this, but no, they've been around forever. This song came out when I was a kid, and it's always stuck with me. I think it's like one of the prettiest sounding songs ever. It's so like crystal clear. The voices are amazing. I can't get enough of this song. Like this is one of those songs that I could listen on repeat, like just over and over again.
Do you remember like how old you were, or whatever?
I mean, I'd have to look it up.
Sure.
But I mean, if we're talking like 83, I was like 9.
Yeah.
There you go. Figure out, do your math on that. How old I am.
Man, I remember that's how I feel about Don't Think by No Doubt. It struck me as a kid, and I'm like, oh, this is the best song of all time. I love and it's true, and that's still true. That's crazy about that is it's actually still true.
I love that No Doubt is like just a band about a breakup. And so, you know, she dated the bass player.
Oh, okay.
And like all those songs are written about like
It's kind of like Fleetwood Mac situation.
Yeah, exactly like a Fleetwood Mac situation. But he doesn't sing, so he doesn't get like a rebuttal. He doesn't write songs.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just playing bass, and she's just going off on him.
Sit here and take this shit.
Right. And then and then she was like, "Okay, guys, I'm gonna go become Gwen Stefani," which she was, but then even levels up higher. You're talking about leveling up. It's like.
Yeah.
No Doubt is here, and then Gwen Stefani was at one point here.
Isn't she on The Voice?
She was. She's not anymore. My fiance, watches The Voice every season, so I always know who judges are. No, she is on this season. She was.
Oh, okay.
Or
she's in and out.
In and out. Yeah. But Blake is gone. So.
What?
I know. I know.
Isn't he dating somebody famous?
He married Gwen Stefani.
Oh, that's okay.
Let's tie it all together. And you know who presided over the whole ceremony?
CeeLo Green,
the bass player from No Doubt.
Oh, really? Well,
No. I'm sorry. Everything I say sounds serious. It's like one of those.
What are you to get me?
It's one of the things that works on stage really well, but at the same time, it pisses everyone off in the real world.
Yeah.
Because I'll just say something, and I know I'm joking. No one else.
You should carry around a microphone with you in the real world. And just do on stage.
Do a type 5. Yeah. If I don't do this, if I'm doing this, please shoot me. Could you just stand by in the back of the room with a high-powered sniper rifle and just? He's done the sign. Hey guys. What do you think about this song? This song before I sent it to you. Right?
This feels like a breakup song, and
it does.
It is. The song that I sent was something that I listened to with a partner, and I think that's why it also has meaning with me. And then but it's funny because we're not. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that.
But you could have mentioned that you could have mentioned that when we were talking about your song.
I know. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. All right. Fair enough, as they say.
Yeah.
This is the song I listen to when I break up, and then this guy sends me another one on top of it.
It's funny. It's called Crowded House because it feels so alone.
Jesus Christ. I'm taking that on stage with me. Have you heard that Crowded House? Anyway, he says, well, don't dream it's over. That's how I always took it. I guess, and I'm looking at Genius or whatever, people are like, well, you could take it don't dream, it's over, which is depressing.
Yeah.
The song sounds too, upbeat and,
it does.
Happy for that.
It doesn't sound like it's all,
it's done.
It feels like a jubilation. I don't know if you can call it jubilation.
I wouldn't call this song jubilation. No. I would definitely call it, whimsical.
Yeah.
Dreamy. It's a very dreamy song. It paired well.
Yeah.
This is how I looked at it. Mm-hmm. And with you, it paired even worse, which I'm so sorry. Was it sommelier or sommelier? You should know.
Sommelier?
Sommelier, yeah. It's I'm a music, I try to be,
sommelier.
Sure. I won't be able to say this word. And I'm not going to embarrass myself by butchering it 5 times, and then having Jada, my editor, putting the pronunciation underneath of him butchering it. We could, but we're not going to. There's certain words I just can't pronounce. You get
that? Yes.
Do you know one off the top of your head?
I don't know.
You'll think about it as soon as we get done recording. You'll say it to me, and I'll be like, oh, actually, you pronounce it this way. But French words, I don't know what it is about it. My mom is from Quebec. Quebec, yes, Quebec. She's First Nations.
That's
I don't
cool.
call them Native American there,
Have you ever visited?
Yeah, I have been to the reservation, the tiny reservation where everyone is on.
Oh, I was thinking it would be Montreal, but Quebec is the.
No, Montreal's in Quebec. I've been to Montreal en route to the reservation.
Oh, okay.
So if you're at Maine and you're driving, you drive 9 hours to the Nova Scotia border, and then our reservation's right there. Because that's what they did, that's what they did to the Native Americans.
In Canada too?
Yeah, everywhere, man. It was kind of a thing, how'd you do with your Native Americans? Let me tell you.
Yeah.
We just shipped them off.
I mean, it's all, I guess, from imperial powers in the 1500s.
Right.
And onto the, oppressive policies through the whole time, but...
Point being, I can't, for some reason I have some kind of mental disconnect. I can't speak French. I can't say French words.
Yeah.
Spanish, I don't have a problem pronouncing.
Yeah.
Whatever. Things, but French words, it's just no go.
I took French in high school, and I'm still learning.
I took 3 years of Spanish, Worst thing that could have happened to me, because now I can understand and read Spanish. I can't say a word back. I don't know, like Lopez is like pen or something. I don't know. Like Perro is dog. That's it. I don't know my verbs. I can't conjugate anything. So it's like, yo necesito, and I just point at things. And so it's like, well, when I go to Mexico, and I've been a handful of times, guess what? I look like everybody else there. So it's like, people speak Spanish to me and then get mad when I don't answer them in Spanish.
Oh, they're probably not that mad.
Do
you get mad at people whenever they can't speak English?
No, because I'm not. I'm not in that country where I look Mexican. I'm in Mexico and I look Mexican, and it's like, oh, you're one of them, and it's like a different thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm kind of the steps to the whole to the doors of your heart. I mean, there would be like one where like, I hope we can work it out. This is more like, I hope we work things out. I wouldn't want to take it as like a breakup song. Like, I would rather take it as like, we're on a break and then maybe we can circle back at some point and make a go of this, I don't know. Wishful thinking, like I want to be more optimistic about things.
Do you have songs picked out for your wedding, being such a music person?
We have a lot of conversations about wedding songs. A lot.
Are you like curating a playlist?
I'm not. My fiance, you met Becky. She is just as much in music as I am, which works out great for us. So we have common bands. We have things that we like. We go to a lot of concerts. And I was kind of like, if I give suggestions, she's gonna either think I'm joking because again, everything I say sounds like a joke, or she's not interested. So it's like, it's more like, what do you think of this, this, and this? And then I pick from that selection. Yeah. That's more of like the thing.
What are some of your common bands?
We're both big fans of like the White Stripes, Jack White.
I heard this newest album.
Oh, that new album's great.
I'll have to check it out.
It's awesome. Yeah, he just like put out an album though. It was great. He just like, here you go, here's an album. Didn't tell anybody, just so like he has a store. He has Third Man Records in Nashville, Detroit, and London. Yeah. The day people went in and bought stuff. They were just like, okay, I'm getting some Jack White merch or White Stripe stuff or something. And they slipped the record in their bag.
That's how they released it?
That's how they released it.
That's awesome.
That is the greatest drop ever.
Yeah.
So then, and then...
It's better than YouTube pumping it into people's phones.
And then, so it was like, and then they were like, and it had no name on it. The album ended up being called No Name, but there was nothing on the label. So when they put it on, it was like, oh wow, this is Jack White. Yeah. Like brand new Jack White.
Jack White is trying to speak to me specifically. What is he trying to say?
Did he give it to anyone else? Like, but yeah, so I don't know how many
copies. Jack White in love with me?
If I had a quarter for every time I thought like some celebrity was in love with me, too many quarters.
Fair faucet. Yeah, and if I don't kill the president, she's not going to love me.
I would hate to be on the receiving end of that. That really happened to Jodie Foster.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah, you meant to say Jodie Foster.
I just missed the reference.
Yeah, good call. I mean, I think I killed the president for Farrah Fawcett, like 70s, 76, 77 Farrah Fawcett. Like,
man, it's probably hard for her to be qualified. But, whenever she was in her prime, like,
yeah. I mean, I was like 2. I'm saying, like, I saw, they had video.
I've seen
cameras. They had technology.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, like, yeah, that's crazy, honestly. People who, like, hear or see things and like think that people like what do they call it, the parasocial relationship that people have with like celebrities or like podcasters, YouTubers.
Oh, what is that? Like that? Parasocial.
Yeah, where it's like you think that like we're friends, that kind of thing.
Yeah. It is weird, like having listened to like other comedians' podcasts and then eventually like getting to meet them. Like you do feel like you know that person, but you can't like come into those conversations as if like
you were there.
You've talked before, yeah.
Yeah. Like, hey, remember when you were talking about on the pod?
Yeah, I feel like that'd be off-putting.
That is off. I think it would be. Yeah, I don't know. That's weird for me. I don't want to become famous enough, or that's a thing for for me. But I mean, I realize it's like it's not on the table. Let's just put it off to the table. Like, don't have a parasocial relationship with me. Like, you don't there's nothing here. Like,
and it's crazy.
I am an empty shell of a man. Like, literally and figuratively.
That level of fandom is just wild. People. My friend the other day, they posted something about Taylor Swift, and then was like immediately getting death threats by just crazy people online.
About like somebody I know or like?
They are a comic out of Denver,
Okay.
and it was just some joke in a story about 2020 or like predictions for 2025, and one of them was that like Taylor Swift's private plane was going to go down, something like that, and then she also showed like a comment of some random person online saying some like pretty stuff that I don't want to repeat, like crazy.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
People talk about the Bayhive a lot, Beyonce's group, and like apparently like one of them will sick like the rest of them on something like somebody like that.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then like that, the Taylor Swift thing.
They're like cronies.
Yeah.
Like henchmen.
Yeah. What would you name your parasocial group though? That would be the big thing.
Mennonites.
How did you have an answer ready to go? I've thought about this for a long time. Yeah, I don't know.
I'll write my own Bible, and they can pray to it, and they have to cut their palms.
Yeah, I had a friend.
Shake hands.
I don't know where you heard this joke, and I assure you he didn't come up with it, but it's a great joke. He's like, hey Jeff, I'm going to start a religion. What's the first thing when somebody says that? Like, well, you're going to need a lot of followers.
Yeah.
You know, always the setup. You don't realize you're setting it up. He's like, no, I only need 12 of you.
He only needs 12?
Yeah.
Are those the apostles?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't have it. Did you have a very religious upbringing?
Yeah. More than you, clearly.
They took us to places and places. That's what I call them.
So like my mom was Catholic because that was the first thing they did to the Native Americans. It's like, hey, here's this God, and this is your God now.
Missionaries.
Yeah, and they're always Catholic. Like the Spanish Inquisition. And so of course it was like, so my mom's name is Mary Elizabeth, which is like the most Catholic name on the planet.
Yeah.
It wasn't like Running Bull. I know you were gonna say some bullshit like that, because that's how people treat me. And it's like, why isn't your name like Rising Star or something? It's like, oh, come on, it's Jeffrey.
But isn't that also Mary Elizabeth? Is that a queen also?
Probably.
Yeah.
Elizabeth was. Yeah, right. But
Catholicism.
clearly. So yeah, I didn't get confirmed. Kind of got out early. Because my dad was Baptist, and they weren't happy that my mom married a Baptist.
Yeah, big deal back then.
It was a big deal, and so. But I did have a lot of friends who went to the Catholic school and stuff like that, and I did have to sit through a lot of like hour and a half near Latin Catholic sessions. Oh yeah, and then you get up and you kneel and you stand. And it's the whole thing.
In Latin still?
Sometimes
there are still like
there's one famous there's one downtown in St. Louis that's famously got a sign that's like in Latin at 9 a.m.
Do you think that helps you get into heaven?
It gets you closer, yeah. There's actually a Latin checkbox. It's like, ever attended Mass in Latin.
Does it have subtitles as well?
Not at the church. They do now. They actually have so many signs in Latin.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's crazy though. I don't know. I guess it's like on some level it's. No, I don't like it. I tried to like spin it in my head, but I'm like, I don't get it. I think it's exclusionary.
Yeah,
there's a word.
So. Yeah, you said it correctly.
Is it?
We're circling back to pronunciations.
Is that a version of that word?
Yeah, I'm sure it is now.
Yeah. It feels exclusive to, and it doesn't. If you're trying to communicate stuff with people, it feels like you want to communicate things often as simply as you can to just be more inclusive to people and to do something that's like, say something in that dead language like that. I mean, I guess it means something, or if you're already like super Catholic, which I imagine if you're seeking that sort of thing out that you are.
Yeah. Well, if you look at it from this point of view, and maybe you don't, like I got a math background. I don't know if you know like what my actual degree is and stuff like that. Like I got a degree in mathematics and minor in computer science. And we use a lot of Latin in math. And the reason why we do is because it is dead. And the reason why like you go to like Latin masses is that like they believe that like that's more true to the literal translation of God than like other versions.
Wasn't it Aramaic?
What?
Wasn't the Bible originally?
Yeah, somewhere in there. But so it's been translated 4 or 5 times before it got to Latin.
Yeah.
And then, but like it's still closer to like the original. It's like somebody telling you like how Star Wars went. Did you ever listen to Star Wars in the original Latin? I listened to it in original Klingon. I'm sorry.
If it would be hilarious if Jesus did come in at the end of Star Wars and it's like actually. This is the way. It's not all the space nonsense. It's like, I don't know. It just those worlds feel opposite. And I think it would be funny if that was still part of it.
Jesus is back in the Star Wars universe, which is a long time ago, far away.
He's flying an X-wing.
So he could have. Yeah, he's using the Force. He's like fighting.
It is the Force.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh-huh.
But that's a long time ago. He could have did that, and then came to They never tell you how long ago.
That's true.
It's somewhere far away, a long time ago. So Jesus could have flown here on an X-wing. Maybe we'll dig one up one day, and then all bets are off.
Heaven's just the Death Star.
It is.
Or whatever.
Tatooine. It'd be the sand. It'd be the sand planet.
It's just a desert.
Just sand everywhere.
Oh man,
It
that
gets
makes sense because they
everywhere.
all wear sandals.
Yeah, that ties together.
Yeah.
You were really good at like bringing things together today. I appreciate that.
I don't drop the thread.
No, you just pick it up and keep going. I've never done improv, but you're doing. Like I feel like we're.
I'm rusty with. I went through all the classes at the local place in St. Louis at the improv shop, but it's been like I got through them and it was fun. I still I do like improv. There is good improv for sure.
Is there?
Yeah.
Is there?
I mean, I used to watch Comedy Bang or listen to Comedy Bang Bang the podcast for a while, and it blew my mind whenever I started listening to it to hear people like go into something as a character and just like continue being that character for like a full 45-minute segment or whatever it is.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give people that doing a full character.
There's plenty of bad improv too.
There's infinitely more bad improv than there is good improv.
That goes for most things. Yeah,
that's true, but like it's rare to see. You gotta go seek out good improv, and it's like those people don't perform. Like it's not go checking out like a good band, or it's not like checking out like good stand up. Like if you go to the club at any given most weekends, you'll catch a good show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for the most part, maybe you'll catch.
You're gonna find something to enjoy.
Yeah. But if you go to improv, all bets are off.
There's definitely. I feel like you need to know more going into it. To be able to like grasp it and be on board with improv,
right? To
like just understand what's happening.
Yeah, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's keeping it at a distance.
Just arm's length, and we have great friends who are like very good improvisers and people, and you can tell when somebody's had improv as a stand-up because usually they're a little more quick-witted. They're a little bit faster on their feet, as opposed to like people who haven't. Like I haven't. I'm slow and dumb. I'm like, hold on, I'll think of a punchline in a second. That kind of thing. Again, with the hand. This is what I am now.
To drag it back. What's Canada like? What's Montreal like?
I don't know.
How old were you?
The last time I was there was 88.
And it is.
So that would have been when I was like 13. Yeah. Well, so my mom's gone. I have cousins out there. I don't have any grandparents. My grandparents died famously. My aunt was murdered, so it was my mom and my aunt. Yeah, so like there's this highway in Canada where apparently they just murder people. It's like the murder highway. It's like stop hitchhiking. They have like giant signs.
Was this like specific to like? Does it still go on?
Yeah, if you're on that highway, somebody will probably pick you up and murder you. It's just like I guess it's like they can never pin it to one person.
Oh my God.
It's like hundreds of women who've been killed on this. Like she had her own like Unsolved Mysteries, Canada version of Unsolved Mysteries.
Yeah.
And so I
have was like actually produced and put out like you seriously
like Unsolved Mysteries. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Like Unsolved Mysteries Canada. I know. I'm more dealt with it than you have.
Yeah.
Like this is the first time you're hearing my aunt's been murdered. For me, it's been almost 30 years.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit more. I wouldn't say comfortable with it.
30.
Almost, yeah.
Wow. Did you ever meet her?
Yes.
Beforehand?
Yeah, I did. She died in like the 90s. That's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I know.
She lived so far away. So
yeah. No. So she's got two. She had 5 kids. So those are my first cousins. We're most friends with like most of them on Facebook. One of them was really weird, and I don't know if he'll watch this. We have the same name. His name's Jeff, actually, and he airbrushes all of his photos on Facebook.
He airbrushes?
Oh, well, like uses a filter.
Okay.
But they look airbrushed.
Yeah.
So it's like, he has no wrinkles. He's like a year older than me. And not that I have tons of wrinkles, but like none.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this isn't how this works, buddy. Like,
it's a bad look whenever you're getting on and you're trying to hide it using computer filters and then people see you in real life. Like, whoa!
Right, exactly. Like you're catfishing people.
Yeah.
Stop it. He also posts unnecessary, like something happened with his family. He's got like 4 or 5 kids, But like
somebody was murdered.
No, they weren't. No, well, yeah, his mom was murdered, but like his current family. I'm just putting all of his business out there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chuck. And something happened between his wife, his kids, and him, where he can't see the kids, and then he'll try and like post about the kids, and then like one of the kids will be like, "Don't talk about me," like on Facebook.
It's also bad.
Yeah, it's all uncomfortable. And maybe because of the filters. I have no idea because there's no like lead in on what happened.
Maybe if he does enough. Oh, I shouldn't do it. If he does enough filters, maybe they'll talk to him.
Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they turned them off. That's all they've been waiting for.
We can edit
like,
that out.
Just stop. Yeah, she can edit it out. She might. I don't know. I don't watch the show back except to hear the sound, so I don't know what gets edited in and out of this.
Oh, okay.
I told her not to edit anything.
Oh, okay.
So like it's all like part of the conversation. Anyway, Canada, like the reservation is like a small town where there's like Camaros up on blocks, like dirt roads.
Do they have legal protections in Canada, kind of similar ways to the?
Yeah, and they get like money from the government and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and they have like fishing rights. Like if I lived on the reservation for like, I think it's like 6 months, they'll build me a house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's...
And then like I could get like free education. Like there's benefits for, but then I'm by the Nova Scotia border, 9 hours from the U.S. border.
Yeah,
which
and just probably
not
not close to any major town.
Nothing.
Nova Scotia's on the. No, I'm thinking of Newfoundland. Is that on the east?
I don't know. I know Nova Scotia's on the east, and so it's like Nova Scotia,
yeah, you said
Quebec
Maine before.
Yeah, and Maine. So yeah, and then I think Quebec City is nearby. That's like the closest. I've been there. I may not have been to Montreal. I know I've been to Quebec City.
I heard Montreal feels like a European city.
Yeah, well, the whole area feels different. Like everything, like French and English everywhere. But that's Canada law. But it was just like, I remember we went to a major city and there was like nudity everywhere. So like
in sculpture or
no,
walking down the street.
Well, like there'd be like magazines, and it'd be like naked women on them. Like there was no like covers or like you shouldn't be seeing this. It was like, oh yeah, like I don't know if I'm supposed to be seeing this right now, but I am, you know. And like my mom didn't care about like nudity and stuff like that. Like we watched like Stripes and Porky's. Like she had me watching them when they came, like when they were on HBO, and she like I ended up covering my eyes.
You think there was like a more mature attitude surrounding those things because of that? Okay. Because you know how like they say, oh, the drinking age over in Europe is super young, but people are more responsible with it.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's even true? That just seems like a thing that's passed around to high school kids,
right.
so they can say to try to get to drink.
I could be drinking at the table right now.
Yeah,
I'm drinking a beer with you.
If I was in Europe right now, I'd be hammered.
That's the thing. It's like, okay, if you could responsibly have like a cocktail at dinner, maybe. But like you just want to get trashed.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest.
Let's be honest. All cards on the table. Don't start citing laws from other countries to try to pass off your behavior.
Right. Yeah.
In Thailand, this is fine.
I think a lot of things go in Thailand. I don't know if that's something like that's not the bastion of freedom that you want it to be. Yeah, a lot of things go in Thailand. And, so anyway, that's my memories of Canada. It was like a little small town. And then, like, everything outside of the small town was like, I'm in a different world.
Yeah.
Like, even in Mexico, I felt like, you know, everything's in Spanish, but I still feel like a connection. Like, when I was in Canada, like, or in Quebec specifically, I never felt like, oh, I'm in some place I feel comfortable with.
Yeah, it
like,
just felt very foreign and unfamiliar.
And on top of that, they're like, everyone on the reservation would be like, you know, like, the Quebecers don't like us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like there was a lot of racism and stuff like that. Like
it's like everywhere you go, like the cities are usually like more progressive. Like even in like historically like blue states, and then you get outside of them, it's just country is country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
People are just dipshits everywhere you go.
They are.
And they said that people didn't like them outside.
Yeah, and then so there was a wedding. We went to a wedding. I remember this. So we went to a wedding, and then like. I guess some of the wedding party went to like a bar in town, like a nearby town or something. They got into a fight, and they're like, you know, those Quebecers like got in a fight just because we're Indian or whatever. And
yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. I don't know how true or whatever. Like, you know, young impressionable kid, and I was just like, yeah, those stupid Quebecers. You know,
yeah.
The stupid French.
Those
and then I'm like, I'm never gonna be able to say sommelier now. I'll show them. And maybe I made a mental decision that like, okay, French is off the table as of right now.
Should it be chandelier?
I don't know. Stop. Please stop. I'll never be able to say this word. You've made it worse. Crowded house. We're back. We're back to this. Is there any specific thing that stays with you, or
I mean, the hook.
just kind of
But I mean, that's almost a given. But I mean, it's it just takes you back to like movies and cinema. It's like, oh man, this is like opening up, like just. What is this in like a John Hughes movie or something like that? It just feels like such a sign of like that, of that time. You know what I mean? Not a sign of that time, but just I don't know what the word was.
I almost need like a laptop to like verify some of these things. I wonder how many movies this song has been in. I'm kind of curious. We could have that listed here.
Yeah,
like, right
we should
now.
just be wearing VR headsets and GoPros.
It's the only way people should podcast.
We'll have like the little.
I would rather do it this way. I know the microphones aren't great, and we're gonna have like I said, I have like really nice professional microphones, like on stands and everything else.
These work great.
Yeah, they don't. I assure you, they haven't been. And for what I paid for them, they should. But it's like, and then people have headphones on. They have the microphones in their face. And it's like, is this a good conversation? Like, I feel like like.
You think it's creating a barrier?
I think so, but I don't know for sure.
I think you can work around it, and I think it's probably fine. I mean, what you're saying, there might be something true to that, but I think it's something that if you do it enough, you can probably.
Yeah, but then you're like a podcaster, you're doing the podcast thing. Like, I'd rather like one of the things you're like, let's film on the couch, and you're not the only person to have said that. And I'm like, I don't want to, I want to look at you and talk to you.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this is our aesthetic, but it's not just an aesthetic. It's like this makes my life easier.
Yeah.
Like if I was on a couch talking to you this way, it just wouldn't be the same.
Yeah, you feel like it's easier to find a connection.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what we try and do here at Gimme A Song. We try to find connections. So we did. We found 2 depressing songs for you.
Yeah. I'm going to drive home in silence. It's actually what I'm going to do now.
Yeah. And which is, I'm sorry. I didn't realize that, like, you took it this way.
No.
I always, one of the things that my mom gave me before she passed was this little angel, and it's in the living room over here, and it just says dream on it. And that always, like, stuck with me. It's like, we dream. We're dreamers, both of us. We're doing...
When did she give it to you? Like, was it when she...
Well, not immediately after, because, she was dead. But,
I didn't
it
know
falls
if
out of her hand. No, it was like a Christmas gift one time, and it just said dream, and I was like, she always wanted me to do this, and I didn't do it until after she had passed. So I'm going through like a midlife crisis. So like, here's what I'm doing for a midlife crisis. I'm doing a podcast and I'm a stand-up comic now.
Doesn't feel crisisy.
No, it's not. I'm trading it all in for Miata. I used to joke with my students. I'd be like, when Becky turns 40, I'm trading her in for 220s. They would get so mad.
That's funny.
It is. And they would just be like, they're like, you're not. Like, they'd get defensive. I'm like, you barely met this lady. You've seen like a picture of her once, just stop.
And it doesn't even feel like, it's just a joke.
Is it?
I don't know. That's up to you.
That's what I'm getting at. When she turns 50, 25s. Because I missed 40. I missed that window. We talked about it, or I talked about it.
You talked about it.
She was like,
yeah,
we could just stay together. I was like, we could. Or.
Well.
Yeah. You're gonna look at this camera, and you're gonna thank you first before you look at the camera. You'll give your socials. Tell us where to find you, how to follow along. Thank you for coming on.
This is fun.
Yeah, it is. That's what people say.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it translates. I mean, I can tell you, like, via viewers how it translates.
Well, I mean, that's everything.
But, eventually, I think it'll do well. I think it'll find an audience.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I do. So thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah,
it is good times. I appreciate you as a comic. Like I said, when I saw you, I was like, this motherfucker. Like, and then you were a good person. It would have been worse if you were like funny and then like a dick.
I'm trying to work on myself.
Yeah. Were you previously?
I mean, it's like a lifelong thing. I think it's like living well as a meditation on, I think, what we want to be.
Yeah.
And then working on it and trying to be mindful.
I have famously been described as an asshole to a lot of people.
Described as?
Oh, well, I don't think described as. I think they're like, that guy's an asshole.
After you say you can trade him in for 220s?
Yeah. Immediately thereafter. Like, yeah. And it's kind of like, because I don't, here's the thing. When you meet somebody new, you gotta like you go through like this whole like intro thing to get to know them, and then you're doing small talk. You like the blues, you like this, you like that. I don't have time for that. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I come across as like standoffish to people that I don't know.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, that guy's an asshole, and it's like I'm not. But at the same time, like I'm comfortable with us never being friends.
Yeah, I feel
you know what I'm saying? And so it's like I don't want to be that guy, but at the same time, like I'm not mad if I'm not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we have like a lot of conversations in this household about that.
I try to be friendly, but I generally don't go out of my way to make the first step in meeting people, especially around comedy, and not because I don't like them. I just feel like I've seen a lot of people
coming out.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked Ronaldo Mercado is one of our friends. He lives in Austin now, and he's like, hey, like, why aren't you like more friendly to me or whatever? And he's like, look, man, he's like, you may not be here in 2 months.
Yeah.
You may not be here in 6 weeks. It may stop tomorrow for you. You know, and it's like I've been busy with a lot of things, so I haven't been out and about as much, and it's like I don't want people to forget me, but at the same time, like I've got to get this stuff done, and then I can like really.
I think you gotta have a healthy relationship with doing it too, and you gotta define what that means to you, and you gotta know that if you're going out too much and it's becoming too much of like energy spent, that it's okay to back off for a little while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come back to it on your own terms.
Yeah, no. But thank you for coming on. This is our podcast. This is Gimme A Song. We've got the sign now. Hey guys, eventually we're gonna have microphones. We're gonna have headsets. We're gonna be on a couch. We're gonna slowly.
Eventually, this podcast is going to be one big sign.
It is, actually. We'll just put it in front of the one.
You're screaming on a billboard next to the highway with the microphone.
Yeah. Here's this. Anybody want a song? You can give me one first if you want. It's just chaos. I've completely snapped. Look at this camera here and give us your socials so that people can find you. I
am at Ben Johnson Comedy on Instagram and Benjamin Jensen on TikTok, I believe, although I haven't been posting up. Mainly it's Instagram.
Yeah.
Doing some shows coming up. I'll be in Chicago with Jack Wright here in a couple weeks.
Okay,
I'm not sure
cool.
when this comes out. But
2 weeks from now, roughly. So.
All right, so I might be in Chicago. So wish me well in Chicago. I will be cold.
Yeah. And I'm at Jeffrey Phipps, JEFFERY_Phipps, PHIPPS. There's a handful. There's an English name. As as English as you can get.
Phipps.
Yeah, Phipps.
It's quite British. Boy.
Anyway, the show, if you're watching it, you're already here, but like tell your friends. We'll get to that in a second, but it's Gimme A Song, GIMME A Song, on YouTube. We got a link tree, linktr.ee/Gimme A Song, GIMME A Song. And so you can find us there. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on Apple Podcasts.
Across all platforms.
We are on all platforms, actually. We're on iHeartRadio.
That's cool.
I don't know if anybody listens to it there or not. It's just sitting there on the shelf.
Uh-huh.
But you can get it and pull it off, and
accessibility's key.
That's right. So we are everywhere, and always we close out with this: tell your friends, tell your pets. Thank you, and thank you, Ben, and have a great day.
So then maybe think about that.
I'm gonna ask you.
Libra.
Yeah. Could you just stand by in the back of the room with a high-powered sniper rifle and just go? How'd you do with your Native Americans? Let me tell you.
Yeah.